Hello everyone, I'm Jaha Zainabu, and this is Storytime with Jaha Zainabu 37 slash 365. Welcome. Today I'm going to talk about taking a break and that it is important to take a break from your projects. Many of us are involved in whatever writing project we have going on, whether it's working on a collection of poetry or writing a novel or working on a chapbook or whatever you're working on, a play, whatever it is, writing wise that you are working on. At some point you might need, at some point you're going to need to step away from it. Um, and I just wanted to share some things that I do when I need to step away from whatever project I'm working on. Because it's important that we take care of ourselves. It's important that we take care of ourselves physically, of course, with diet and exercise. It's important that we take care of ourselves mentally. Um, so these are some of the things that I do when I need to take care of myself, when I need to take a break. I think I'll mention here that it is important to note that I don't recommend long breaks. Um, I I tend to involve myself in projects that are daily. Um, it's just things that I like. For me, I just like that. So, for me, taking a break looks like, um, especially if I'm in a project, if I am in a daily project, taking a break looks like me working on whatever that project is for the day, or like getting as much done as I have committed to do for that day, and then actually leaving, physically walking away from it, because, or like physically going out into the world. Um, for people who work from home, it's easy to um, do your work, your writing work, and then whatever other work you do, and then whatever other work you do in the home. It's easy to lock yourself inside of your home, and you look up and a week has gone by and you haven't gone outside. So for me, taking a break, so I take breaks kind of every day. Not long breaks, short breaks. I might go for a walk. That might take, and me going for a walk, you know, I'm not walking miles on miles on miles. I'm not doing 10, 15-mile walks. I am not doing that. Because I don't do that. Um, for me, a walk is more for my head. It just clears my brain. It happens to be good for my body as well. But I take the walk just for the fresh air, for the visual break that I get. I like choosing different paths. One day I might walk toward the park. Another I might walk wherever. So I like taking different paths, mostly because I like taking pictures. Um, yeah, I like taking pictures, which leads me to another point. Um, have, and again, I am no instructor. I am only telling you what works for me, and has worked for me for many years. Um, so for me, it is important that I have a hobby outside of writing. Um, just, you know, because this writing, and especially when writing is also work, This grind culture will kill you. This grind hustle culture will exhaust you. It will burn you out. So I think having other hobbies outside of writing is important. It is life giving to me. I love photography. I am not a photographer per se. I love taking pictures. I have been told I have a good eye, whatever that means. But I do like taking pictures. Um, let's see. I love um, I love decorating. I could spend hours on hours on hours decorating my home. It brings me so much joy. I watch, like, I'm addicted to apartment therapy on YouTube, or the other, it doesn't even have to be apartment therapy. It could be some random Joe, like, hi, this is my trailer home, or wherever. I will sit there and watch every single thing random Joe wants to show me in his double wide or whatever. Um, but no, have another hobby. That is important to me. Just because I am always, I love creating. I love create something. And so my hands are always itchy for kind of that next thing. If it's not a different hobby, it is, I'm going to start a new writing project. Like, um, and sometimes I just need to back away from writing, period. Um, so let's see. Rest. That is important. That is high on the list of how I take care of myself. Um, there are days most days, to be honest with you, I actually have to schedule naps, but naps are key to my mental health. Um, yeah, they are very important. And I don't really have a life where um, I have that kind of free time where I can just, oh, I'm gonna take a nap now. I think I don't really have that. It's kind of boom, 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 boom. Um, and so, but I have to say, you know what? One of these booms is gonna have to be moved up or down, because right here is where I'm sleeping. Um, I'm not okay when I go days on days without taking a nap. It doesn't work for me. It does not work for my mental health. It does not. It does not. And so, something has to give. And if you're anything like me, then you have to schedule it. Like, something has to give, because I used to operate like I will squeeze a nap in when if there's time. And as life has it, there just isn't time. Yeah, there isn't time. And naps only work for me because I have decided that me taking time to actually sleep in the day is as important as that next thing on my things to do. So, rest. Um, not just for me, not just taking actual naps in the day, like 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or whenever I take a nap, but also going to bed at a decent hour. The older I get, the more important that is for me. Um, if I am involved, enthralled in a writing project, I could easily just work and work and work and work and work, and the sun is coming up. And now it's like 6:30, and I'm just going to sleep. And sometimes I have to be up by 10 or 11 or 10:30 or something like that. So that doesn't work. It doesn't work for my physical health. It doesn't work for my mental health. It doesn't work for my art. It does not allow me to show up at 100. So, and it is, which actually brings me to my next point. It is one of the ways, it's one of my triggers, like not getting enough sleep and not getting regular, just regular sleep, at kind of a as consistent time as I can keep it. I'm not that strict where, I go to bed at 10:30, I try to, though, actually at 10:30. I try to. It doesn't work that way all the time, but I do try to. I have allowed myself grace these days to where as long as I'm in bed by midnight, I won. For me, I like to create a game. I like to create a game I can win, okay? So if I go to bed by midnight, I won. Sometimes I'm in bed earlier, and there are days when I'm in bed earlier, and I don't actually have to be asleep. I just have to be, in bed. I can be in bed and there's a movie on. I can be in bed and I'm listening to music, but I need to be in bed and not working is the full sentence. So me just being in bed, if I have my laptop on my lap and I'm also editing some story, I did not win. So, so my next point was knowing your triggers. I do live with bipolar, and there are certain triggers that are like ding, 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 ding. And I sometimes spiral out when I'm triggered. And me avoiding them is easier than going through the spiral, the depressive episode, and then coming out. If I can just avoid it, it's just better. And so, me eating properly, me eating fruits and vegetables, me drinking water, plenty of water, resting when I can. Another deep trigger for me is I have to monitor my news intake. That's important. There's so much negative news. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And the truth is, there is, and always have been, a lot going on in this country, period, ever. So for me, I just have to monitor the amount of news I let in my body, in my head, my ears. So I have to monitor that. And news from wherever, TikTok, the news, on TV, wherever I get news, I have to monitor that. And like knowing certain things that are like knowing my patterns that will lead to a trigger. Lead to like an episode for me or a spiral for me. One of the things for me, and this might not, it might not apply to you, but for me, I don't, maybe it's a weird thing, but if I have a very comfortable couch in my living room, and I notice that when I sleep on the couch sometimes I'll stay on the couch all night and I'll wake up and it's like, did I sleep on the couch? Yes, you did, Jaha. You slept on the couch. If I'm on the couch and sleeping on the couch more than 3 days, it's a problem. Why is that a problem? I don't know what it is. But when I am like avoiding coming into my bedroom and sleeping in my bed, and instead sleeping on the couch, I allow myself up to 3 days and then that's it. These days, I don't even give myself 3 days because for some reason, when I sleep on the couch, I tend to just keep sleeping on the couch. It's just a thing that I noticed about myself. So I allow myself 3 days. You may have funny kind of quirks that, lead to a particular trigger. I don't know what they are. You know, or maybe you don't know. So start paying attention. It could be something as simple as, I noticed that when I drink coffee after 10, or when I eat McDonald's breakfast or burgers, or then I get a little, I don't know what they are for you. So just kind of start paying attention to what those things could be. But for me, it's sleeping on the couch more than 3 days. And like I said, I don't really give myself any days anymore. Today was weird. I did take a nap on the couch, but that was a nap during the day, like about, I don't know, maybe around 3:30 in the afternoon or something. Yeah, or something like that. But it didn't last long. It was a nap. Fell asleep, got up, and then went and ran some other errands outside in the world. So getting outside in the world is very important to me. I can't stress enough. I keep saying to me, to me, to me, because I don't like that, when people come off as, this is how you do it. I don't know how you do it. You know how you do it. I'm just telling you what does work for me. So getting out in the world is very important. Not just, for the exercise. It's not just the vitamin D. It's just it's me giving my eyes something new to look at. I can take a break from what I am actively, consistently seeing. How do I say? Just it's just me giving my eyes a break, and then I can come back with fresh eyes, new ideas. Sometimes I will be out and hear something that works for a character. I hear a lot of things, like just ear hustling in line, at the store, at the market, at the farmer's market, wherever. And you just hear things. I just hear things. And right now I'm working on I don't know what it's going to be. It's something that I'm playing with right now. Yeah, I'm just playing with it. It's a conversation between a man and a woman, and their names are Blue and Hannah. And right now the project is called Blue and Hannah. I'm not the best at titling things, but the project is temporarily called Blue and Hannah. And it's an exercise in dialogue. I think I started off, for those of you who have seen other story times, I read a kind of love action kind of story called what is it called? Called Lamb and Brew. And Lamb and Brew started off as an exercise in conversation. Like I would have them converse, but I wouldn't say who was speaking. Like in a normal written dialogue, it might say, in Lamb and Brew, it's Lamb is a woman, Brew is her boyfriend. So in a normal dialogue, in a normal conversation, it might say, Brew might say something, and then it will end in quotations, and it will say she said, and she expressed, or whatever. And then Lamb would respond, and the writer would insert, Lamb responded, he said, whatever. But in Lamb and Brew, in the beginning, it started off as an exercise in dialogue, and I wanted to see if the characters' voices were distinct enough to where they could converse, and the reader know who was speaking just by the way they spoke. So that's what that's what my project, Blue and Hannah, is. I never say he said, she said, that, I never say that. I just have them talk. And I will shift that. Like, I will, like, correct that. I mean, not correct that. I will add, he and she and stuff like that later on as the project develops. But right now, it's just the test. Anyway, I said all that to say, me going outside into the world. I I could be standing in line, like at a store, and overhear a couple talking. And I remember one time recently, I'm standing in line at the grocery store, and a guy said something that I don't choose to repeat. He said something, but I said, Blue would have said that. Like, that Blue was a character in Blue and Hannah. But I said, Blue would have said that. So you just never know, like, the things you pick up. And me going, sometimes if I go outside after, like immediately after working on whatever I'm working on, I still have these characters or whatever scene, I still have it fresh in my head. It is still swirling. It is still cooking. And I'm always trying to know some character better. I'm always trying to do that. And so sometimes I'll go out as a character, like not dressed as, but just like with that character in mind. Like, knowing what, like if I'm shopping at a grocery store, knowing what, or imagining what Hannah in the story Blue and Hannah, imagining what Hannah would purchase. Is she eating bread right now? Is she not eating bread? Is she vegan? Is she vegetarian? Is she, like, things that I don't actively think about while I'm writing sometimes. So sometimes while I'm writing, I'm just writing the story. And while Hannah's diet may never enter the story, you knowing your characters like that gives them a sound, gives them a voice, gives them character. Gives your characters character. That is separate from the other characters. It just is. And without actually knowing your characters, they're all one note. They're all one note, and it gets boring really, really fast. And not only are they all one note, but they're all you. And I'm not saying you're boring. I'm just saying I don't want to read a bunch of you in the same story. That's all. So these are just weird tricks that, I'm not going to stall myself out. I don't think they're weird. I think that these are things that probably many writers think about. I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Let's see. What's next on the list? On taking a break. Having a spiritual practice is important to me. I wake up and I have a window very close to my bed. So I get up, I open the curtains, and I sit and I stare out the window. Sometimes I say a prayer out loud. Sometimes I don't. I do keep a gratitude journal. Sometimes I actually write in it things that I'm thankful for. Sometimes I think them. Sometimes I name them, I list them out loud. I do that often. That's also how I go to sleep, not with the window open, or the curtain open, but listing things in my head. No, actually not in my head, but just like a whisper, things that I'm thankful for. It also helps calm me when I feel nervous, when I feel anxious. I tend to um, just think about things that I'm thankful for, and I'll say them out loud. And I just keep saying them until, if I'm lying in bed, sometimes until I drift off to sleep. Um, and these aren't, um, I'm stopping myself from saying these aren't big things, these aren't major things, but they are. Blinking is a major thing. Can you imagine if you couldn't blink? Um, and so I will say, I am thankful that I can blink my eyes. I'm thankful that I can go to the bathroom and pee without needing extra shit to help me do that. I'm thankful for my bladder. I'm thankful for clean water. I'm thankful for my nose, my eyes, my teeth, my feet, my fingernails. I'm thankful for, so like all these things. And it doesn't matter, whatever pops in my head, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for, um, things that I don't even think about to be thankful for. This morning, I had a job outside of my house. I had a job in Fayetteville, and Fayetteville is not close to me. How about that? Um, and I was all the way at the client's house when I read the message that she rescheduled. And everything is about perspective. So before I allowed myself to get, I can't believe this. So before I allowed myself to get involved and like swirled up and swallowed in that spiral, I just I got something to eat, and there is this thrift shop. I am a huge thrifter, and there's a thrift shop in Fayetteville that I'm not in that part of town often, but when I am, there's this thrift store that I like to visit. And every time I go to that thrift store, it's winners, okay? And it was winners today, okay? So I got out of the car, and I could feel that angst in my body, that kind of anger in my body for having, come all the way down there, and the gas, and got up early, and the time, and all the things. And so I just interrupted it with, I'm walking into the thrift store, and every step I just gave thankful for something. And so, I'm thankful for my legs. I'm thankful for my physical health. I'm thankful for money in my bank account. I'm thankful for my son. I'm thankful for my mother and my sister. I'm thankful for love in my life. I'm thankful for, so I just did that. And it helped. So having a spiritual practice helps me immensely. I actively talk out loud to the energy that I call God, that I believe lives inside of me. And we converse like two old women on a Mississippi wooden porch. And I can say things out loud knowing that that energy hears me. At the root of every human is the burning need to feel seen, heard, respected, loved. And in a conversation with the energy I call God, I feel that. I feel a warmth. I feel that is not like a warmth, like an actual warming in my body that is not menopause. That is not a hot flash. Okay, but I can feel that, and I could feel myself calming. I could feel myself being okay. And I could feel that energy like, you are good. You are straight. You only came down to Fayetteville to come to this thrift store to pick up these banging ass dresses, boo. You good. So having a spiritual practice is important to me. Therapy is important. I don't have a therapist right now because I don't have insurance right now, but that's the only reason. When I was in LA, I had a therapist for years. And for me, therapy is not, it's not like going to the doctor for a broken leg. Like, you go to the doctor and the doctor works on your bones and then your leg is fixed and then it's done. For me, therapy is an ongoing, not fixing, but an ongoing thing. It's like, it's like you brush your teeth every day. You don't say, yeah, I brushed my teeth, so I'm healed from bad breath or all the things, brushing your teeth is good for. It's an ongoing peeling of this onion that is you. So I think that therapy is important. And I've said before, I, on other story times, I did not come up in a time when therapy was important. I came up in a very much you pray about it culture. Like, that's where I came up. You give it to Jesus, okay? You depress them dishes, okay? I came up in that. And bless our parents' generation's heart. But not so much. Like, you need whatever God you love and therapy. How about that God you love direct you to a good therapist? How about that? So for me, therapy is important. Like, all of these things are good for me. While, like, me as an artist, while I am actively working as an artist, while I am, cranking shit out. I need, these breaks. I need these time. I need, I need time. I need having a, what's the best phrase? Having a communication partner is important to me. That communication partner can be your best friend, can be I don't know what you would call your person. I don't know. For me, it's a very good friend. And my friend knows. I'm sorry, my nose is itching. You know what? I love Georgia, but I'm low-key allergic to it too. Like, the pollen here is vicious. Anyway, so mine is my very good friend, and I can tell her anything. And at the end of me expressing myself, I'm still an amazing woman, no matter what I say. And these are things to look for in your communication partner. You need to be able to communicate. Today, I'm a punk bitch. and she not see you as the punk bitch you think you are. You can communicate, this is how I'm feeling, and she still sees you as here. She stays here. She stays here in her view of who I am. I might I might not have that view of myself, but me knowing that someone else is holding that view of me here is important to me. I hold her here. So have somebody that you are in communication with, because why that works for me or why that is important to me. Well, for me, it has me not take too long of a break, for one, because a long break away from whatever project I'm working on is dangerous. I start to have reasons why I don't really want to go back to the project. I start to I don't know, I just start to talk myself out, sometimes out of, like, I'll do it later. You know what, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it, but having someone out in the world who knows what you're working on, what your projects are, what you're doing, who knows you, who knows, like, you know what, every time I talked, I've spoken with you for the past 7 nights. And every time I talk to you, you are sleeping on a couch. What's the deal? We only give ourselves 3 days. But what's going on with this like 7 couch day thing? Having somebody who knows me like that, and can call me on that like that is huge for me. So, I would suggest it for you. Have a communication person. Everybody is not good for everything. So your best friend is probably, it might not be somebody who can keep you on track like that. Then call your Sunday school teacher. I don't give a damn how, but find somebody. Find somebody. And somebody outside of you and yourself and anything that exists inside of you, outside of you, find somebody. I know we like to think that I would keep myself on track. I am accountable to my motherfucking self. No, somebody else, right? So the other thing is to play. Have fucking fun in your life. Play. What does play look like? I don't know what play looks like for you. Play for me is... What is play for me? Play for me has changed from... it's obviously changed from age to age. At 55, play looks like a game of Uno with friends. Play looks like me decorating my house. That's fun to me. Play looks like me going swimming. Play looks like me turning the music on and dancing. I like to do that. Play looks like me singing. I like to sing. I cannot sing, but I like to sing. But I don't know what play looks like for you. You know what play looks like for you. Do that thing. You don't have to do it every day, but do it regularly. Like, let it be a thing. Your body is like, hey, we haven't danced in a long time. We gotta get back. When are we? And it doesn't have to be like a huge like thing that you do. It could be, you shoot the shit with your friends on the phone. I don't know. I'm not going to think for you. I'm not going to do this work for you. You're going to do this work for your damn self. But play, okay? The other thing is that is very important. Is spending time being quiet. that's something that I do. That's my morning thing. I sit, I told you I sit on the edge of my bed and I stare out of the window, and I sit for as long as I can sit. I know people who meditate for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. I don't really do that, but I sit on the edge of my bed and I love watch the squirrels chase each other. I say a prayer. But all of these things before I check my phone. All of these things before I check my email. All of these things, I use the bathroom and then I come back and then I sit. And whatever messages there are on the phone will still be there. Whatever urgent email I get will be, truthfully, probably less urgent by the time I get to it, but ain't that life? But spend time being quiet. Spending time with others is for sure important, but spending time with yourself. And you'd be surprised at the thumping is my dryer. My dryer is always sounding like somebody's trying to get out of it. But you'd be surprised at just people who can't be with themselves. Yeah, be with yourself. Be with yourself. So a thought just came in my head, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna say it anyway. So the whole point of like these things that I'm listing is really like to pull you away a little bit from your project, your novel, your characters, but I'm always thinking about them. Even in this exercise, I was thinking about having Hannah, my favorite character that I'm working on right now. I was thinking about having Hannah do all of these things. Like what's going through, which is actually a bomb-ass writing prompt, by the way. Shit is brilliant. This is some fucking gems. What if you had, okay, we're going to take a break from our own relaxing. Y'all know I be going places, right? Y'all know I can't stay on the same shit for like too long. Fuck it. So what if you had your characters do all of these things? So your favorite character right now, what does it look like when she or he, in my case she, Hannah, what does it look like when Hannah is sitting on the side of her bed? What is she thinking? It's a bomb writing prompt. What is she think? What is her prayer? What is Hannah thankful for? What when Hannah spends time alone, what is her shit to do? Does she dance? Like that's what Jaha does. Hannah is not Jaha, and eventually, so these story times will last a year, and we're only at day 37. So eventually, Blue and Hannah will be complete, and or at least a rough draft will be complete, and I'll read it, and so you'll get to know Hannah then. But Hannah is not like Jaha. Hannah is not Jaha. Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think of these things. I didn't even think of these as writing prompts. I was listing these things as things for us as authors to do, but it just clicked. Like, wow, these would be great things for our characters. What is Hannah thinking? What is Hannah's or your character's? What is her quirky? Her quirky thing that she has, that her quirky trigger. Like my quirky trigger is being on the couch for more than 3 days. What is Hannah's? What is your character's? I don't know. I don't even know what Hannah's is. I can't say that I know her like that yet. I know her. I created her as much as authors create characters. I don't know that we do, truthfully. I think that they exist and come through us. But that's a whole another spooky story time. Anyway, so I spend time alone, spend time with people, and now that I've introduced our characters doing these things, I can't turn that part of my brain off. So we are officially shifting from, where I'm going with this. Rest, take care of yourselves, love yourselves, step away from your projects, come back with fresh eyes and ears, get a mentor. I didn't say that, but get a mentor. Get a mentor who, and your mentor could be separate from your communication partner. Your mentor does what you do. Your mentor, if you're a writer, you're a writer, so is your mentor. Your mentor knows the work that goes into drafting a play. Your mentor, and contrary to popular belief, your mentor does not have to be somebody you talk to every day. She doesn't. And here's, one for the spookies. Your mentor doesn't have to be somebody you know. Because Nikki Giovanni was mine for a very long time. What would Nikki do? I don't have her number. We met once, twice. She don't remember me. Well, not now, but she, but if you have a mentor who knows you like that you can call, that you can ask, whoop de whoop, that's a bonus. That's great. But somebody that you follow, that you deeply respect, like, so it's Nikki Giovanni, for me, it's James Baldwin, it's Toni Morrison. There's so much information on these, on these interwebs that just Google some shit. Go down the YouTube rabbit hole on James Baldwin's interviews, and they're there, and he'll say, yeah, I da 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 while he's smoking a cigarette. They're there. And maybe your mentor is not on YouTube. I don't know. I'm just saying, and maybe he or she is. But all that to say is, you don't have to necessarily know this person. But there isn't really a thing that we are doing that hasn't been done on some level before. Yeah, we have our own spin we put on shit. But when you break it down, it's just this, and somebody else did this before. So, okay, we covered us, and we covered the importance of us separating ourselves from our work for a bit, and coming back to it and all of that good stuff. Okay, now we are jumping into the next part of our discussion. And it didn't dawn on me. It just is not what I created when I turned the camera on. It is not what Storytime 37 was intended to be. But now that we're here, what would it look like because getting to know your characters is important. What would it look like if you wrote out these things about your characters? When I say, instead of saying your characters from here on out, I'm going to say Hannah, because Hannah is the character that I am actively trying to develop. So, who's Hannah's mentor? Who's Hannah's mentor? who and I'm talking about Blue and Hannah, and I'm talking about Hannah, but I'm trying not to give you any details about Hannah or Blue. I just want to I don't know, spring it on you when I spring it on you. Um but like, what is her, who is her mentor? Who does she look up to? Who, I've never addressed it in the story. I didn't, mostly because you meet Baloo and Hannah while they are years into their relationship. They are a young couple, but young, like, I mean, I'm 55 and I still consider myself young. So, but they're younger than 55 though. But they are years into their relationship. So unless I creatively, I don't know. I was gonna say unless I like, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say the reason that it, because there's only, remember, the exercise is only dialogue. There is no, right now, in the process where I am now, right now, there is no there's no direction. It's just, I'm gonna add that in a minute. It's, I'm just being creative right now with it. So it's new and I'm being creative. So it hasn't come up in conversation between Blue and Hannah what or who her profession is mentioned, but it has not come up in their conversation who her mentor would be. At this point in their relationship, Blue would already know that. It's not something that would come up. Like, I mean, like, even if her mentor called on the phone, like Blue saying, "Hey, it's your mentor on the phone," like, would be weird. So I don't know how I'm gonna bring that up. But I am. Yeah. But not deeper than how I would bring it up. I don't even know it. So I remember I was someone I knew had written a play a long time ago, and he asked me to read it. And my note to him was that all of the characters just sounded flat, like sounded like he didn't know them. And it's a rough draft, it's a first draft. So, your first draft is not going to be, that's not the draft that's going to win the, what is the award that playwrights win? Whatever that award is, that's not the draft that's going to get that award, right? And so that was my note. Like, like, it's got great bones, but, get to know your character. So we were, and that just seemed weird to him. So I said, so he was like, "Whoa, like, how? Like, And so I said, well, like, I don't know, what's his favorite color? What, what does he really want? Like, what does he always wanted that he didn't get? Was it like emotional safety? Was it someone to love, or someone to love him? Or like, what does he want that he doesn't have, and never had? What does he want? And so, what school did he go to? Was he the only black in the classroom? Was he, straight A student? What did he do homework? So I'm asking him this, like, all these questions. And at some point he said, what difference does it make? Like, I can answer all of your questions. I could just start making stuff up. But that's the thing. Like, that was my point. Like, you are making it up because you don't know them. And the more you know your characters, the more they will speak to you and tell you where this story's going. I mean, you guide it. You drive the boat. You are the driver. But they will say, like, you ain't gotta work that hard, author. You ain't gotta do it like that, boo. They will tell you. So when simple things like I mentioned earlier, is Hannah a vegetarian? When they go out to eat, she's a vegetarian, so they're not going to the Longhorn Steakhouse, probably. Or they're not, you know what I mean? So, like, it will kind of write itself. Not, it doesn't write itself, but it will give you great suggestions the more you know your characters. Yeah. So, yes, he was right. He could just answer my questions with anything that he made up. Like, if I said, what school did your character go, did he go to? He could say, John Blake's high school. He could say that. His favorite colors is green. He could say that. But it will show in your writing, it will show on your draft whether or not you have a real relationship with these characters. It will. I'm pausing because I am newly excited about jumping into doing this exercise with Hannah and Blue, actually. I tend to favor certain characters, and they shift. Like, I don't have and I try not to have too many characters in a story, but they shift. Like, right now Hannah's my favorite, and then in a minute she won't be. I'm just going to be I'm going to be all up Blue's ass, and that's who I'm fucking with. And then I'll go back to Hannah. This is what I do. I don't do both of them. I'm glad I only have one child. Anyway, try it. Again, these are things that work for me. And I'm just telling you, I've been writing for a very long time. I'm not, I'm not gonna go list. I almost started downing myself, like, I don't have this award or this degree or that, but I'm not gonna do that. I got, over 30 years in this game, and I have, over 30 years worth of receipts, and I have diligently worked very, 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 very hard. Are there better poets than I? Absolutely. Any more dedicated? I don't know. So this is what I love. Thank you all, like, in crazy ways, for showing up every day. For those of you who do, thank you. I am getting great things out of turning the camera on and talking to you for a whole hour every day. I am getting great things out of it. Today is Storytime 37, like 37 days. I did not eat dinner 37 days in a row. I didn't. I had a shake tonight, but I'm going to show up for you. And I am not just showing up for you. I am showing up for myself as well. And I don't create projects that I don't get anything out of. So and to be like, keep it really real with you, one of the reasons why I went back to Blue and Hannah is because my story, Blue and Hannah, is because I was like, you know what, I gotta have something to read. Like, and I have written so many, like, stories and short stories and a novella and poetry and da, da, da. But if we're gonna do this for 365 days, I need, like, some more shit, right? So it just is pushing me to be better and create more. And isn't that the point? So again, thank you. It's been great. It's been great, 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 great. And we're done for the day. I love y'all. Love yourselves too. And mean it. Peace.